This is my official response to this document. First of all, I'm going to be telling you the names of the authors of this document. Chazgoat, T-Drink, and Gur Rage. They didn't credit themselves in this document directly, but if you dig through it, you can find logs of edits made by T and this Gmail, which is a shared Gmail between a couple people. I know this because the creator of the Gmail told me so. This is the base document with nothing left out. I'm going to be going through and talking about everything here. I'm going to be telling you what did happen and what did not happen. For the things that did happen, I'm going to be explaining to you why they happened and take accountability if needed. I ask that you please watch this whole thing through. First, let's start with this. Without sugarcoating, this screenshot is real. On this date specifically, I turned 13 2 months ago, and I've been a part of a friend group for 7 months or so, which I'm going to refer to by Friend Group Red. I found this friend group through Rec Room when I was 12 years old. It's one of, if not the first friend group I ever joined on the internet. I was extremely influenceable, and to just give you an idea of how young I was, here's a recording of me from around that date.
Hello, welcome to Beat Saber Songs. This game is still a work in progress, so you can't play any of the songs yet. You can only view the songs. And some people just come here and say stuff like, "Oh, that's trash." Shut up.
Now, this friend group Red, would allow and encourage sending explicit materials. There was an entire channel dedicated to it, and some of the members were 10 years old. We were all influenced and manipulated into normalizing this and thinking it's a cool thing to do. If you do this, you would have been considered a respected and cool person in there. This is what got us accepted. And the owner of Friend Group Red was a big Rec Room creator at the time that I and a few other people looked up to. But even before Friend Group Red, I was surrounded by people who did the same. This is absolutely a disgusting thing to do, but I was surrounded by it. And this document tries to frame me as the one and only weirdo who would do it, which is ironic considering the authors of this document participated in it themselves, except for one. But I'll get to that later. So no, I'm not secretly into that shit, and I've never been into that. This and this is just two very out of context images from when I was 13, surrounded by the worst people ever. This, I'm pretty sure, did not happen. I remember seeing other people send it, but I don't recall doing it myself, and I can't find any evidence of me doing so. For this one, I searched and I searched and I searched and I searched for all of my messages on that day, the day before and the day after. This didn't happen. These messages did happen. They happened in Friend Group Red, although what absolutely did not happen is this part right here. This is another case of me trying to fit in, to look cool. You can literally tell by the emoji sent right after. Saying that made me feel respected because that's the environment we were in. This one is the same as the She's 13 one. Can't find any evidence of it happening, and I do not remember doing it. But as I said earlier, everything from this that did happen came from an environment where it was normalized, which applies to practically everything in this section. Now onto this. The censored user here was a member of Friend Group Red, and the only thing I knew about him is that he lost his virginity at a young age. I know this because he would brag about it in VC to look cool. Now onto this video, which contains 5 subjects. First is this image, which I'll explain further down the line because it's brought up again. Second, this did not happen. It just didn't. I did have DMs with this person, and I used to know her back in 2022. She would often make things like this and distribute them. I remember it clearly. To give you an idea of this person, in 2022, when I just turned 14, they sent me this video. This video is a SpongeBob clip, followed by someone. This one, on the other hand, I can confirm happened, but there's nothing really wrong here. I was 14. This one, again, I'll explain down the line. This one is disgusting and also didn't happen. In fact, I made my own to display how easy it is to fake something like this. This one did happen. It was a joke between friends from Friend Group Red a really long time ago. It's definitely a weird thing to put in your bio, and I take responsibility for that. This is another case of a user from Friend Group Red that used to talk about how he lost his virginity. Now onto this. Berbek claims to not have known the meaning of the N-word since English is not his first language, but that can be proven wrong by simply taking a look at a few screenshots dating back to 2021. Now, I did say this, but not in the way that the author is trying to make it sound. What I did know at the time of being 13 years old is that it's the worst word you could use, and that it was often used against black people in our current day and age. Although what I genuinely did not understand at the time was the severity of the word and its actual history. And again, it did not help that I was surrounded by people who normalized it around me all the time. For anything that's just the appearance of the slur in my messages and stuff that's obviously just jokes and not me genuinely showing hatred towards black people, I'm just gonna skip. Now we arrived to school, but right before that, I gotta cover this. This year happened at the start of 2022 when I just turned 14. Before this exchange, I was hosting events on Rec Room called Counting to 100,000, and people could pay tokens to increase the amount of numbers I have to count. I put a lot of effort in preparing for these events, and they would often result in them being completely griefed by hackers. After the 5th or so time that this happened, someone messaged me claiming they had the Discord user of someone who was hacking these events. So I talked to this guy in private, he rage baited me, and then I sent this message which contained the hard R. My thought process at the time was, what is the worst thing I could say to this guy right now? And without thinking twice, I sent it. And to this very day, I am apologizing apologetic about it. I took responsibility, but on the moment, I felt the heat and wanted to make an apology as quickly as possible, which resulted in 3 different rushed apologies. They all terribly suck. I was avoiding the blame and not really apologizing. And so a few months after I released this 30-second half-assed apology, I went into the YouTube editor and removed all of it. And now it's just 3 seconds of silence with this message on the screen. The real apology is on the right. You can go read it on YouTube right now. It's public to see. And so I suggest you go give it a read if you're really that interested. Which brings me to Skull. During the middle of all of this, Skull dropped a YouTube video covering it, which heated things up and resulted in this live stream clip and this image right here. This image is a screenshot of a YouTube community post made by Skull, which obviously showed his physical skin color, and Skull is light-skinned, which is a concept I was genuinely unfamiliar with at the time. I was not taught what that meant. So I sent the base screenshot in his Discord server, he replied with this, and then I replied with this. An edited image where one of my friends at the time just bucket tooled his entire skin with the color white, which is known as whitewashing, which is also a concept I was genuinely not aware of. I just took it at face value as just a stupid joke. I was 13. Which brings me to this clip.
SK0L is not black, he's pretending to be. Mixed race, bro, what does that mean? You're white or you're black?
First of all, this is absolutely an insane thing to say while on a live stream in front of 100 people, and it would be the last time I would ever do it. Although what I will be honest about is that this isn't me being genuinely racist, it's me being genuinely really ignorant. Back then, I thought the terms white people and black people was directly referring to the literal skin color of a person, not their race or their origin of their parents. So when I say,
You're white or you're black?
I am literally referring to the color spectrum from white to black. I myself am mixed race and did not know what it meant. The author literally points that out here, but doesn't stop to consider that maybe I genuinely have no idea what I'm talking about. Because the authors don't care. The only thing they want from this is to see me go down. They've been trying to expose me and find personal information on me for years now. Fairly recently, around a year ago, he addressed his racism. This still doesn't change the fact that he lies about not knowing the meaning of the N-word, despite claiming that he does understand its meaning here. Yeah, no, I don't know why they're trying to twist what I'm saying here to make it sound like I actually did know, but no. All I'm saying here is that it's the worst word I knew. Now to this next part. Yeah, this happened. This happened after a friend of mine leaked a really old Twitter account from when I was 13 and part of the friend group Red, which made me extremely embarrassed, stressed, and angry. Back then, I should have definitely controlled myself more. This was almost 2 years ago. Here's the Twitter account. As I just said, this was a really long time ago. I think I was 13, maybe 12 here. I don't really remember. Now we're gonna get into some pretty crazy stuff. This clip, first of all, is a joke between friends. There's nothing actually malicious here. The friend group that this happened in is the current friend group I hang out around. A friend group that I created called The, and here's the rules of the friend group. Now, admittedly, it feels like what I did in the clip broke these rules, and today I wouldn't do this. But we weren't saying these things ourselves or using it as an insult in any capacity. We were just triggering an AI into saying it. It's stupid, edgy humor in a private friend group. This doesn't prove that I genuinely hate certain races, and it's absolutely stupid to include it here. Now, let me show you a clip from this same session, a clip that I took. When you remove the white cover on the clip from the document, it reveals 2 faces. One is Panzer, which is one of my best friends today, and the other is Rage. Now, I'm not leaking her face by showing you this. She has shown her face on this Discord account publicly before. But if you recall from the beginning of this video that I'm recording right now, I said that Rage is one of the authors of this document. She helped write this document because I cut ties with her a while back, and then she joined Friend Group Red. If you want to know these reasons, here's all of my messages with her before it happened. She is a mentally unstable creep. I have multiple witnesses that can confirm that she was a mentally unstable creep. There was one time in VC where I had my camera on and I jokingly said, "Yo, chat, rate my attractiveness from 1 to 10. And she privately messaged me 9 out of 10. There was another time with her camera on, she showed her glow-in-the-dark with 3 minors in the VC and was talking about how she uses it when her boyfriend isn't in town. She might try to deny that today, but she did do that, and I have multiple witnesses from that VC that will confirm the same thing. She would also casually draw realistic furries in sexually suggestive positions with minors present. She would also get jealous and start acting weird when new girls would be invited to the group chat or were present in the VCs at all. Oh, sorry, and did I mention that Rage now goes by GRRRTE on Rule 34 and posts there now? She also goes by Brooklyn and Minty Nachos sometimes. Oh, and here's her Discord ID and the Discord ID of Chaz and the Discord ID of Tea Drink. Oh, and I almost forgot. She also posts these, but uncensored, in Friend Group Red, which at the time of recording currently contains 12-year-olds. This shit writes itself. Isn't it just so interesting that she fully commits to this weird shit right after she joins Friend Group Red? Should I reiterate that this is one of the people who wrote this document? And I haven't even gotten to the other 2 yet, because at the very end of this video, I put together a slideshow with a bunch of images and screenshots of the type of people Chazgo and Tea Drink are. Oh, and there's a ton, and I mean a ton of other stuff that makes them look way weirder, but that I don't have actual evidence that I can show go for. Another thing to note is that Rage would concerningly often joke about her personal information in VCs in a way where she would sometimes just read out her social security number in its entirety, her home address, full name, names of her family members, etc. It sounds insane, but she would genuinely do that just to joke around. But considering that through this document I found out that she would be recording us sometimes, I don't think it would be that far-fetched to say that she would purposefully say those things in VC to use it against me at some point. Also, if she has this clip, which I know it's her because I've seen her cursor before, then she must have recorded a lot of other things, right? If I'm really that bad of a person as they're making me out to be, how come this is the worst thing that she can pull up on me? In fact, after she was banned from the friend group, I have a clip of me going undercover on an alt account, finding her in a random public VC in the server Chill Zone, where she would just blatantly lie about things.
No, I lost my whole friend group. Well, I was friends with this little shit-ass YouTuber that I didn't even know he was a YouTuber. For one, when I first met him, I joined a random server on Rec Room because I was bored and I was playing with my cousin on there. And, you know, we were trolling people. You go on and you can create
It's like Roblox.
Kinda, yeah. And, you know, so I was genuinely his friend. It's not like I was his friend because he was a YouTuber. He called me a fangirl, and I'm like, dude, I don't give a shit about your little YouTube channel.
You can tell, like, you can hear a little bit of my old mic there. I never called her a fangirl. She was genuinely my friend. I was genuinely her friend. We only wanted the best for her, and all of her friends from back then can confirm that.
Okay, I don't give a shit. Never watched the video, and he has my social security number. So
Why does he have that?
he found it.
You told me, and I didn't note it. I don't have it.
So you can tell from right there, I was just commenting on it while being muted. This isn't me, by the way. It's just a random profile picture I found. But he found it. What, I just randomly found your social security number? Are we serious? She would unironically repeat this too, as if I just walked out my house and saw just a bunch of papers on the ground, right? I pick one up and it says Brooklyn social security number. I'm gonna pocket this one. A few weeks before this clip, you read it out loud to us completely unprompted. I don't care about your social security number. But yeah, I cut ties with her almost a year ago and she is still trying to get at me. I suggest you give these DMs I showed earlier a quick read. But next up, I get how this next part can look weird, but it wasn't my intention. This entirely boils down to me and a few friends in VC scrolling Twitter, finding the craziest Roblox avatars and recreating them to troll around for a few days. Absolutely nothing sexual happened at all. That is literally it. And this is completely unrelated. I was playing a fighting game and was wearing a variation of this outfit. I'm not even sure if the person in the chat is even referring to me. And this is another case of the authors trying to make it look like it was entirely random whilst leaving out literally everything around that message. Also, this was almost 4 years ago. Now onto this part, which is entirely not true. Not a single bit of it. The messages here did happen, but what Gablino is saying absolutely didn't. And I have no fucking idea why he wrote this, and he seemingly has no idea either. One thing is for sure though, I don't blackmail my friends. I've never blackmailed my friends. I don't hold personal information on my friends, and I don't note down personal information either. Everything here is entirely false. And it's from a period where Gablino was manipulated by the people from Friend Group Red to record things that happened in my group chat that I mentioned earlier, and secretly send those recordings to the people in Friend Group Red, which caused a whole lot of drama where we argued, talked, settled, and became friends again up until today. I don't know what possessed him to say this back then. You can ask him directly, and you can ask all of my friends from that this never happened and that I never did this. I myself have gotten blackmailed before. Here is Gablino himself from just yesterday, the time of recording, also making an announcement clarifying that I never did that. Although what I don't appreciate is this part right here that isn't true, and him and his brother trying to make it sound like our relation was purely business on a couple occasions. I have hundreds upon hundreds of clips of us playing games together while in him and his brother would join voice chat every single day. There's even public videos on my channel with him participating, having a blast. We're not business partners, we're actually friends, and at some point we were best friends. But from what I see here, maybe only one of us actually cared about this friendship. The document was showing him accusing me, and his first instinct was to throw me in the trash and pretend like he barely knew me. Absolutely ridiculous. Just think about how many other friends Bear has collected the personal information of. Yeah, well, how about you go ask them yourself? On the screen is a permanent invite link to a Discord server my closest year-long friends volunteered on their own to make, where they share their POV on all this, their experiences with me, and have even volunteered to answer people's questions about everything. If you want to talk about the document, you can do it there. And I don't even have any staff power in there. Now, from all of the stuff I said before, before this point in this video, I think you can figure out this one out yourself. These days and over the past year, I've made it very clear that I'm against saying those words. My closest friends are very aware of that. Back then, as you know, I wasn't like that, and I've apologized enough for it. This, I can confirm that this happened. I was messing around with alt accounts and Python programs and managed to bot my RecNet posts to have a ton of cheers. A Rec Room staff messaged me, we talked for a bit, and I stopped. That's literally it. I don't actively do this, I just did it for a few posts a few years ago. Trust me that I gain absolutely nothing for botting my posts, and I don't even need to either. But I find it really ironic that the people who wrote this document are using me cheating the system on RecNet a few years ago as leverage when there's tons upon tons of evidence of them taking part in entire groups dedicated to hacking on Rec Room. Which brings me to this part. On the screen now is a little slideshow to show you the kind of people Chazgo and T-Drink are, which again are the people who wrote this document. Pause at any point to read anything you want. And here's a random fact I'm just throwing out there. Not only is Rage 21 years old, but Chaz and T-Drink, well, I don't know about T-Drink, but Chaz I know is 21 years old as well. Just think about that for a second. 21-year-old obsessing over a minor for the past few years of his life. And also note that I've barely spoken to this guy. When this document released, 99% of the people who went after me blindly took everything they saw at face value and were toxic about it, were massive haters since the very beginning. I recognized all of them, I kept notes of all of them, and I genuinely do not care what they have to say, because they don't care what I have to say either. If you see anyone behaving like that, send them this response or just ignore them. You can join this Discord server to talk about the document. There's a lot more info in there than what I shared here. That's it for now. Thank you for watching.